I'm Hannah, and in this blog today, I'm going to be discussing a guide to living with stress. Now, I'm going to go straight into this and give you some statistics because they're quite overwhelming. 74% of UK adults have felt stressed at some point over the past year. Now, of course, we've all been through unusual times. This is 2022, and the last 2 years have been quite extreme. However, 81% of women said this compared to 67% of men. Why is that? And 83% of 18 to 24-year-olds have said that compared to 65% of people aged 55 and over. Now, our youth have a huge amount on their shoulders these days, let's be honest. And to hear that 83% of 18 to 24-year-olds are feeling stressed is quite extraordinary. At that time of my life, I was, my goodness, exploring the world, having a great time, and looking back now at all the memories. But it's interesting that only 65% of 55-year-olds and over are feeling stressed. And I wonder if that's because they've come so far that they're just easing into life and they're comfortable with who they are as well as what life throws at them. And I think that's key. Now, I've just turned 40 and my stresses now are very different to that of my 20s and 30s. And in fact, I feel a lot more comfortable in myself and I'm more confident in myself. So my stress levels have reduced significantly, but I've had to adapt and change my life to reduce that stress level. The last 2 years, of course, were incredibly difficult. And for me personally, I was working full time and managing my own home and my own situation, as well as returning to the UK to look after family during the pandemic. And with that stress brought chronic illness for me, which I am now managing holistically and very proud to be doing so. And I've quietened my life at the end of the coming to the end of the pandemic, and I've learnt what I need to do for my own mental and physical well-being. Now, of course, the last 2 years aren't anything to go by, and we do need to live with stress. It is going to impact us at some point through our life. But how do we do that? What does that look like to us? It might be that you have an extreme job of difficulty, stress. You can't leave the stress at the door when you finish work. Maybe you're working from home now, and actually that stress is present all the time within your home environment. Perhaps the stress is family related. Perhaps it's in friendships, financial. There are so many reasons that we do go through times of stress. And today I'm going to give you just a few hints and tips of how we can manage that. And it would be great for you to try that, implement them into your daily life, even. And I'd love to hear how you get on with it. Now, my first go to tool will always be meditation. It is very, very close to my heart. It's got me through some of the most challenging times in my life. And so I will always recommend that first and foremost. I do have some guided meditation audios that you can listen to on my website, and you'll also find some on YouTube. But I would absolutely recommend starting meditation for at least a couple of minutes until you find your balance with it, really, until you find that point that you're feeling comfortable to try it. With meditation, it's quite common to try it not work, and then for you to give up straight away. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to give up, because it is a journey and it's consistent practice that is going to get you through that. And I actually find it really euphoric now. At any point during my day, if I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed, stressed, if I'm feeling like things just aren't happening for me, I just take a couple of minutes and meditate. It's beautiful. So that's my top tip, first of all, and you can look me up for meditation guidance on how to do that. The other thing that I would absolutely recommend is exercise. Now, even if you're suffering from fatigue, pain, depression, where it's very difficult sometimes during depressive bouts to even want to come out of the house. But what I'm going to recommend is gentle exercise. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to go and do a hour's cardio. When we're struggling with stress, that doesn't always seem like the thing we want to do. But I would absolutely recommend going for a walk. If you can, try and go somewhere scenic that you don't normally walk as an everyday part of life. So, don't walk yourself to the shop so much, although that's great to do. Try and find yourself some nature or a park, just so that you can take yourself completely out of your normal zone and walk and put every thought into every step. Be mindful. And if you're mindfully walking and you're focusing in that very moment, you're not focusing on the stresses that you've actually come to walk away from. Exercise is hugely important of everyday life, regardless of how we're feeling, but it will reduce your cortisol levels, so it will bring your stress down. Do try and do that. Yoga, I'm a yogi, I teach it, so I would always give you this tip, but yoga is incredible for stress. You don't have to do a fast flowing vinyasa class. You can do something a little bit more gentle, so yin yoga or hatha yoga. And again, I've got videos on my website with Withhannah.academy, which will guide you through those practices on how to reduce your stress levels, how to reduce anxiety and depression as well. Yoga is something that will target your whole body, not just your mind, but your body as a whole. You work on meridians so that you clear energy blockages, so that your energy flows. There's a huge amount to it. Even with Pilates that I teach, you'll be able to focus on your mind, on the movement you're doing, and really build some physical strength as well as mental strength as well. On the flip side of that, from exercise and meditation, you can do things such as Epsom salts, an Epsom salts bath, beautiful, really lovely. We actually lack magnesium. Pretty much most of the population will lack magnesium. And if you have an Epsom salts bath, not only is it extremely relaxing, pop some bubble bath in there or some lavender essence as well, and it will take you to a different place. Pop some music on, some gentle music. Try to come away from a normal playlist if it's upbeat, because it'll just increase your energy levels and you just want to just calm yourself, relax into the bath, and give yourself a good 20-minute soak. You can try that. Also, making sure that you leave your work at work. Now, having come from burnout from the corporate world, I know how difficult that can be. But if you're working from home now, it's really important to kind of get a different space within your house if you can. I know that isn't easy. We don't all have the space to be able to have a separate office. But on a Friday, close down your equipment, try and put it away out of sight so that your home environment becomes your home environment again, and you're not looking at that laptop dreading Monday morning. And also speaking to your employer if there's any help that they can give you to reduce your workload or to talk through the workload so it becomes more manageable. Sometimes I think we just keep going and we keep plowing through the workload, accepting that that's the way it is, but actually it isn't. We shouldn't be becoming overwhelmed with our work. We should be working to live and not living to work. It's not healthy to plow on with work for long periods of time because you're neglecting your true being. You're neglecting what we're here for, and that's to live. That's to explore and do all that great stuff of what you really enjoy doing. What is also good for stress relief is finding a hobby. Now, that doesn't have to be out and about. You could take up a craft, perhaps painting. Adult colouring's my thing. Oh my goodness, if you haven't tried it, do. It's so therapeutic. In fact, for my 40th birthday, my other half got me a colouring book as a joke, but I loved it. I absolutely love colouring. Takes your mind out of everything. As kids, we love colouring, don't we? We always have paper and crayons when we're kids, and as we grow up, we don't. Why is that? Do we see it as an adolescent task? Give it a go. It's really great. You could find a new hobby of cycling. There are so many cycling groups out there now. You don't have to go the Tour de France kind of route. You can join a small group, which is great for building relationships and new social connections, which will help your stress levels because you're going to be talking about different things, but you're also going to be helping your stress because of the cycling. I never used to enjoy cycling. I found it really painful and quite difficult until I made the decision to get an electric bike. And then that was it. I'm always on the bike because it made it accessible for me. And that's the thing, isn't it? You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Find something that's accessible for you. You might want to try dancing, even with a partner. Try going to learn salsa or line dancing or something different that's really going to take you somewhere fun, somewhere where you can immerse yourself out of the norm, and somewhere where you can relax. It's a great place to be. There are huge amounts of things we can do for stress in terms of the physical sense of what stress does to the body as well. You may find that with stress, your muscles are becoming increasingly tense, increasingly painful, and you might experience tight back. You might get back pain in the upper back or the lower back. Your neck may start to hurt. You may have increased headaches. All of that comes from stress. It's really quite a serious thing. I think it's it can be thrown around quite flippantly, the word, but actually it can have such a profound impact on our overall well-being. So there are some exercises that you can do. Again, look up my website Withhannah.academy and you will find some content on there to help you with that. With the muscle side of things, you can use a spiky ball, which is a pressure point ball. So you place the ball behind you, for instance, on a wall, place it onto the shoulders where it's giving you a bit of grief, roll until you get onto that sweet spot, and then gently lean onto the ball. And it's an acupressure point, so it would do similar to what a massage would do for you. It'll unblock that nodule of tension within the muscle and disperse it. You can use a TENS machine on your muscles as well. I use it. Absolutely brilliant. It's a holistic way of dealing with muscle tension. You can put it on your, legs, arms, back. You can on your neck as well. Definitely something to invest in. Mine cost me £20 and it's the best thing I ever used. I suffer from fibromyalgia and even with that pain, it is incredible. And it's not medication. We don't want to go down the route of medication if it can be helped. And the more you holistically deal with your stress levels, the more you stand a chance of not becoming too overwhelmed mentally, leading you down depression, the depression route. I've been there, and that is tough. And if you are there, you have my absolute love and support. And do reach out if you do need help and some guidance on that because it's not always easy to speak to your inner circles. Okay, stress can easily lead to depression and depression to stress as well. So I will leave you there for today with those nuggets of information. There's so much more to go through, and over time, I will really hone in on those aspects that I've talked about today. But you will find content on my platform. Do follow me on the socials. They're across the board. It's at Evolve with H. And I also have the YouTube channel Evolve Your Wellbeing with Hannah. Do come and have a look at some videos. Like and subscribe and pop your comments below. I'd really like to hear what you have to say. Until next time, take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself.